Major funding for these broadcasts has been provided by grants from New York Community Bank, Capital One Bank, Eastern Consolidated, M&T Bank, Sterling National Bank, Meridian Capital Group, Customers Bank, Aerial Property Advisors, Perfect Building Maintenance. Additional funding has been provided by AKA Hotels, Corman Communities, AmTrust Title Insurance Company, AVR Realty Company, Avison Young, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, Bank Leumi USA, Briarwood Organization, CBRE, Chase Commercial Term Lending, Chase Mortgage Lending, Citizens Bank, Cohen Equities, Colliers International NYC, Collins Building Services, Connect One Bank, CPEX Real Estate Services, Dime Community Bank, Douglaston Development, Levine Builders, Flushing Bank, Friedman LLP, Genova Burns, Handro Properties, Handler Real Estate Organization, HAP Investments, Hodges Ward Elliott Inc., Investors Bank, James D. Kuhn Real Estate Center at Syracuse University, Kilroy Architectural Windows, Madison Realty Capital, Matone Group, Mercantile Bank, New Banks, Newmark Grubb Knight Frank, Optimum Window Manufacturing Corp., People's United Bank, Polsonelli, Rosewood Realty Services, SJP Properties, Stonehenge Partners, TD Bank, Terra CRG, the Knackle Group at Cushman & Wakefield, Maring Goff Family Foundation, the Moynihan Group, and these friends.
There are baby boomers. People are living longer. There are things happening. So today, my distinguished group of representatives are going to talk about the baby boomers, the aging population, assisted living, and what's happening predominantly in Long Island, because that's the market these guys know well. My guests include Jan Burman, who's the chairman and CEO of the Engel Burman Group and Bristal Assisted Living. Michael Dubb, who's the chairman and CEO of the Beechwood organization. And last but not least, Scott Leyton, who is the principal of Leyton Properties. How many senior housing do you have today in Long Island?
We have 15 operating Bristals, and we're building 5 right now. So that would be including what's in construction, 20.
Now, what's the average age of somebody in an assisted living? Because Michael has a lot of 55 and olders, and you have...
they come in their late 80s, and the typical stay is about 3 years.
Now, how many of the people who are in assisted living originally were in a 55 and older community? Michael, any idea?
I think Jan could probably answer that question. He's probably studied the demographics better than me. I can tell you that in my 55 and over communities, the average age is 61.
For my audience, why don't you explain what a 55 and older community is?
Well, it's if it's a couple, one of the two people occupying the unit has to be over 55. So you could have somebody 55 with his 30-year-old wife or girlfriend. And
are they allowed to have a child?
That was where I was going. The other catch is that typically children are not permitted. It's a restriction in the deed or in the bylaws that children are not permitted under the age of 18 to occupy the units, and no school age.
So how did the change happen at Meadowbrook, where it's 48?
Well, there is actually some federal law that actually says you can't discriminate against younger people. So we went to the town, and at the time, that particular town was having a crisis with an apartment building that had to be vacated because of a mold problem, and they needed to relocate people quickly. So using that law as guidance, they were able to say we could have 20% of our 55 and over could be 48 and over.
You've built one, you're building two more, okay? For all three of you, but I'm going to ask Scott specifically, how do you determine where you should be building this 55 and older community?
Well, first I'll concur with Michael that we've seen the age basically the same number, about 62, where when we started in Miller Place about 10 years ago, it was closer to 70. So we've seen, as there's an aging population on Long Island, there's still now actually a younger population that's moving into these 55 and olders. And based on the numbers, it's almost, I think, Long Island is such a land-constrained market that, you know, almost anything, any property is a viable candidate for a development. So it...
You were saying prior to the show, certain of the redevelopment sites that you and Michael have been doing, type of places where you're building housing, what were the repositioning of these properties before?
So we just closed 2 weeks ago on an old dairy on Elwood Road in Huntington. We got zoned for 256 units of clustered housing. It'll be 4 homes in the building. It looked like a big house, but it's actually 4 condos, 2 up, 2 down. The upstairs has a private elevator.
Is that over 55 or is that market?
That's 55.
Okay.
We're building in Seaford 112 houses. That was a school. We bought the school, knocked it down, and we got zoned for multifamily housing there. But we were saying that I bought an old industrial building on the expressway at exit 46 some years ago. That was the Fiat building. They made manufactured shower bodies and tubs, and we knocked down a 150,000-foot building, and we built 150 units of housing there. The key to that was the industrial building backed up to the expressway, and we got permission to put a curb cut on the service roads. So we had a nice entrance, not going through the industrial area, but off the expressway service road, and that made it perfectly great for housing, and Plainview was a desirable area.
Isn't that what you're doing now at Yaphank also, right off the highway?
Well, it always helps on Long Island to be close to the Long Island Expressway. Jan has his Bristals there. I look at a demographic area, and the project we're doing with Allen Rose is literally right off the Long Island Expressway. The 750 homes in Plainview is right off the expressway.
But Plainview is a combination of market rate and assisted living.
That's correct. Yes. One thing about the 55 and over that really gets lost in translation, and sometimes it's hard to educate legislators, is the purpose of it is really should be called empty nester housing, and it really shouldn't have an age. In other words, if you're 50 years old and your kids are out of the house and grown and you don't want the responsibility of a home anymore, you should really be able to move on. The area you're going to, you won't burden that school district with any more children, but you know, legislation is just written with ages when it really should be written sometimes for situations.
Now, a subject that we also discussed in the green room before was the fact that the people who are buying these units are people who had a house before because they're the only person who have the money. I mean, most of them are buying for cash or for no mortgage, right?
Yeah, what we find is we used to try to build these things at 75% of the value of the homes in the area because we felt that people would want to sell their house, put some money in the bank, downsize a bit, and buy. But now we're perfectly comfortable trying to sell a multifamily unit for the same price as the surrounding houses. And yes, they're sick of having a big house to take care of. They're sick of the old kitchen and the old appliances and the old bathrooms, so they'd rather buy something more manageable with less maintenance, and they love having a great clubhouse, and it's a lifestyle for them. No more snow, no more lawns, no more responsibilities.
Let's talk about the clubhouse. What type of amenities are put into clubhouses today?
Well, it's interesting, and it's to what Jan touched on. If somebody wants just a home, they can buy it from us. But if somebody wants a lifestyle, they can also buy it from us. The majority of the people want a lifestyle. So, you know, in our clubhouses, obviously, gym, card rooms. I have one with a sports bar, beauty salon, a sundries store where they can grab, you know, a container of milk, grab a quick sandwich. You know, they get their nails done there. There are, you know, swimming pools, indoor swimming pools, and when you're outside, you know, you have a resort feel, and it's very social, barbecues, hot tubs, kind of like being in a full-service resort. And it's interesting.
All of a sudden, pickleball and bocce have become
Huge.
big things. My sister-in-law lives in Denver. She's not in a 55 and older community. She lives in a community that had 4 tennis courts, and they converted the 2 or 3 to pickleball.
That's correct.
Yeah. Less space.
There is something called the National Pickleball Association, and you can Google it. And my homeowners were demanding pickleball, and they now have pickleball and bocce. So now pickleball goes, instead of 2 tennis courts, one will be pickleball, one will be tennis. Because pickleball is like tennis, but it's a lot more forgiving. It's a smaller area to play on.
And the ball is different. It's easier.
Yeah. And they love bocce ball. It's a very social thing, and we give them, you know, what they want.
In one of the articles I read, I think you may have said that the majority of these people like to have everything on one level, right? You know, and sometimes if they need more space, you'll finish the basement. Are there basements?
Stairs are definitely the enemy of a 55 and older.
We offer, first of all, you know, we offer a finished basement for extra, but we'll give them a full basement regardless. They can finish it on their own. We started putting private elevators in for second floors because we found that before we did that, we got less money for a second floor. Now we get as much or more, because if they have that private elevator, whether it's groceries or luggage, or they worry about what's going to be in 5 or 10 years, and that gives them the comfort factor of being able to do that.
What amenities are you providing on the next, on your people who are average age 84 at the Bristal?
Well, we make the Bristal into the equivalent of a hotel. So we have also a beauty salon. We have a bar bistro for alternate dining. We have libraries and living rooms and card rooms, and it's movie cinema, lecture rooms.
But you've also
40% of our building is common areas.
Okay, right now you've even gone a little bit more with the memory with the Feinstein Institute. What are you doing there?
We just opened up a community on the corner in Lake Success, right around the corner from Feinstein. And we actually built a suite of offices for the Feinstein researchers. Dr. Peter Davies is a world-renowned researcher in dementia, and it's never before been a study of people living in a community like we have. So they're going to be working with our people every day on programs with regard to nutrition, ballroom dancing, weightlifting, and there are all these things that they think can slow down the disease very, very quickly and very, very well. So we're going to try to come up with research on that in our communities. It'll start with the Lake Success property, but it'll go throughout our entire brand that will be incorporating these different programs into all the Bristals.
One of the big topics is transit-oriented developments, because that person who is 55 doesn't want to retire and they want to go to work.
Yeah, we have sites like that.
Right.
In East Rockaway, which again, it gets to reuse, we demolished an old boatyard and built 84 condominiums that actually have boat slips in their backyard, the train station next to them, the supermarket across the street. We have something in Huntington Station very similar to that, where we're building complementary to an Avalon rental, a for sale component where people get off the train, and it helps you get younger people.
Yeah, because I think that's the key. The aging population is not stopping work. They're continuing to work, and they want to have the access, you know, to mass transit, and they want the access to New York City in many cases.
We had a train station in Garden City. We built high-end condos at the Doubleday campus, and even if it's not for during the week, but on the weekends, they can go into the city on a Saturday or a Sunday by train, and they walk, 20 steps.
We're finding about 60% of the people still work, want to keep working. But most of the people from Middle Suffolk County are still working in that area, so they're not commuting to the city.
Okay, so they live and work within the community. You find that in many of your...
We find both.
Today, another area which has become very big is the urgent care center. And the urgent care center and the surgery centers, are you seeing that you're building, or is it near your properties?
We don't specifically look for that, but they're popping up everywhere, so you almost can't be near one anymore.
So how do you determine what is the next project, okay? You've been in the housing business all different levels, but recently you've been building more 55 and older communities, which we're going to quietly get into.
So
You're
we're working on self-storage right now. We have 3 sites that we're looking at to do that, because we think that
But
that's
you're
the
also
underserved
looking for
market.
expansion. As you said before, you know, Long Island there's not that much land, there's not that much availability, and you have enough Bristals in Long Island. You're looking to New Jersey.
Well, we're looking beyond New Jersey.
Right.
We are building in New Jersey, but we are looking now for 1 or 2 markets like Long Island, somewhere in the United States, I'm not sure where yet, where we can kind of duplicate what we've done here.
What about you, Mike?
Well, what we've done is, which we hadn't done previously, is we're now building apartment buildings to own and manage ourselves, more retail to own and manage ourselves. The retail typically is ancillary to development, like in the Rockaways at Arvin by the Sea or in Plainview. What we try to do, and it complements it, is to have, you know, the live, work, and play, have people be able to get their, you know, necessities close, walk to restaurants, walk to shops, be close to a highway or a train station. But there is diversification, and what we do primarily on Long Island is redevelopment. We take these sites that, you know, if you own a shopping center near a train station now, you may not have tenants, but you have the potential to have a nicely situated apartment building.
Same thing what you're doing in Mastic?
Blue Point was, Blue Point was a movie theater, again repurposed obviously for this. The deal in Moriches is a junkyard that we're
So when somebody buys something in your condo developments, what's the price range and what's the maintenance per month and the taxes?
Well, there's a great disparity between Nassau County and Suffolk County because Nassau County taxes condominiums as single-family homes. Suffolk County taxes condominiums as apartments.
For an example, I mean, for my viewers, okay, well...
Yeah, on Long Island, a rule of thumb is 2 to 2.5% of the sales price, typically. It's not etched in stone in Nassau County. And in Suffolk County, it could be closer to 1% of the sales price.
And for instance, our Seaford job is selling around $500,000 per unit. This job we're starting in Huntington is running anywhere from $575 to about $750. So.
And what's the monthly HOA, the homeowners?
I think in Seaford it's around $400 a month. In Huntington it'll be a bit more because we have a clubhouse with an indoor pool and outdoor pool, but I'm not sure of the actual number.
I would say, you know, in Nassau County our price ranges range from the mid-400s in East Rockaway to $1.3 million in Plainview, and the common charges vary from, you know, whether it's an amenity-heavy job or not, to anywhere from about $350 to $600.
Since you're in the assisted living, which is in a form a hotel operation, how come you're not building hotels?
We have a few sites. It's interesting. We have a site in Somerset, New Jersey, which we are getting zoned, and we became a licensee for Home 2 Suites. We're thinking of doing. We have a site in West Windsor, New Jersey. We've been talking about doing a Hyatt Place. We have something on Veterans Highway we're talking about. So we may decide to do that. We may end up not doing it, but we're just not sure because it's something we haven't done before, and it's more complicated than self-storage, which I think is
right.
I have a luxury apartment site that will have a hotel component in it.
That's why I brought it up.
And the idea is really for the residents to have the amenities of a hotel, to be able to go downstairs, get something to eat, have a concierge to help them out, have somebody to park their car. So to make the hotel services available to the residents as well as the other people.
Aren't you doing something with co-living?
Yeah, we are working on in Uniondale. We're zoned for 388 units, which is going to be half age restricted and half co-living. It's going to be 2 equal bedroom, bathroom with a shared living room, and it'll be 2 leases. A lot of kids graduate from college and they go back to mom and dad's basement. So, and one of the reasons they can't take an apartment is mom and dad don't want to sign for the whole lease. They'll sign for the kids' half. So we felt that if we could, if let's say it's $2,000 a month, they'll each be signing for $1,000 a month. So if the roommate leaves, he's only on the hook for half, and so maybe he can afford $600 and his parents subsidize $400 for him. So we think that there's a need for these first-time renters to have a way to get out of the house and segue into their own place.
One of the areas of not assisted living, but the next age community is all your assisted living are monthly rentals.
Correct.
There are, in certain parts of Connecticut and Pennsylvania and more, there are the units where they buy into the unit, the CCR community.
CCRC.
So have you ever thought of that?
We've always been a for-rent model. It works for us. You sign a yearly lease, but you can leave anytime you want. We just fix the rent for a year. We run at close to 100% occupancy.
For my audience, would you want to explain what the CCRC is?
CCRC is Continuing Care Retirement Community. Typically, you go in there when you're more independent. You have an independent apartment, and they have assisted nursing on site. So you pay a monthly fee when you first move in, which doesn't change. So if you need assisted living services and/or nursing services, because you've paid in over the years, it's included when you need it. And it's a buy-in model. So like the one in Roslyn, I think Amsterdam was maybe $1 million to buy a unit and a pretty healthy monthly fee. So, in our case, that just wasn't our model. We went strictly assisted living and memory care from the get-go.
What are the opportunities in Long Island today in the residential business? Both of you, all three of you. What do you see, Michael?
Well, it's clearly redevelopment, and I believe it is the attempt to keep people close to their families, to keep them from leaving the state, to create communities. People want a lifestyle, and we've covered it, but we're looking at sites that have outlived their usefulness, be it an industrial site, be it a retail site, or school, or in Temple.
I think, something which I didn't bring up, but which is definitely factual, is when RXR built the Ritz-Carlton in Nassau County, they never projected the pricing or who were going to buy into this community. What do you attribute the success of the Ritz-Carlton, which is right on the highway?
Lack of competition. It's the only game in town for those people that want that.
Jan and I had a debate as to how much using the Ritz-Carlton name and branding it added to the value. And it's like Jan said, lack of competition. And, it'd be great if you could fine-tune what did the Ritz-Carlton brand bring.
Because I've had them on my show, and they said to me, we never expected the units to sell at this premium pricing. But that's convenience. That's also, it's not a transit-oriented development, but it's on the highway. So you have the capability, when there's not traffic on the Long Island Expressway, to get in 20 minutes.
It's surprising. I mean, to hit those numbers and that velocity, I think it shocked everybody.
In that location.
Yeah.
Right.
We also were discussing that, unless you're in the Hamptons, where people are building these custom homes for $1 gazillion, where it used to be, $3 million houses in Brooklyn, Old Westbury, and Methinicock, and Muttontown, they're lingering because that middle market that buyer doesn't exist right now.
I recently did, and I think it was great because I think it was a pitch for you in East Rockaway and the Rockaways on 1010 Winds. I said, people don't realize, and you did it in the Rockaways yourself when you built on 116th Street, right, that you have the same beach in the Rockaways that you have in the Hamptons over there, and the convenience. And I said, when there is a citywide ferry that's going to in effect
May 1st.
May 1st. Okay, it starts in the Rockaways where it's going to change the commute from an hour and a half to 30 minutes. So I look at the possibility of the Rockaways of having the capability of building an assisted living. I see the 55 and older. I don't see in New York City any 55 and older. Is there a reason?
Because they're not requiring it.
No, but as an opportunity, as a marketplace to build.
In the city.
In the city. In the Rockaways, specifically the Rockaways.
In the Rockaways.
In the Rockaways because of the...
well, I'll tell you what, I'll have a conversation with Jan about that. We'll see if we can figure something out. But You know, the nature of 55 and over is really driven by the circumstances of Long Island and the school districts and the high school taxes and the
politicians.
And the politicians, the resistance to more school kids.
But New Jersey has a similar situation. You have, if you want to look at 55 and over communities, New Jersey was there even before Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay,
they were.
They had more land and they built over there, and they're continuing to build like in Monroe and Jamestown and other neighborhoods. They're not building in Paramus because it's a different type of market. So I think the biggest problem of building assisted living in New York City is the cost of the land and the development site. I mean, you have the new premier, what you're going to call it, Bristal also?
Yes.
When's that reopening?
So we're operating now. We have 100 people living there, but when we're done, we'll have 240 people in a licensed facility, which is unheard of in Manhattan. But we're going to be renovating 4 floors starting imminently, and over the next year renovate all 15 floors into a Bristol Upper West Side.
Do you see more and more 55 and older communities being built?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's an aging population.
Okay, and do you see them being built further out in Suffolk County because there's more opportunities
He's
there?
doing it at 68, so that's pretty far
We
out.
don't get much further out.
You don't get 72.
You'll be in the water soon.
71 is the last. Wait, you're in Calverton. You going to build out there?
Yep.
Assisted living?
No.
55 and older, or
No.
market rate?
No, we're going to be doing the an addiction research.
Okay. So I think as I was saying earlier, with the aging population, the baby boomers and everything else, and the need for housing, it's lucky that I have the 3 of you being involved with this community. I'd like to thank Jan, Michael, and Scott, and I'll see you next week.